Happy 2017 to all you guys, and hoping that all your party dreams of ending a not so great year have been accomplished and filled with positivity. And I can assume that if you're watching this now, you guys are okay, you're safe, nothing bad happened to you, because hey, you gotta make the world go round and you to flourish, right? But it has come to that time of year, always in the beginning of course, why I cover my most anticipated films of 2017. And I know I always have a setup in the background over here, but this is the setup right now where I'm sitting in front of my computer because I'm lazy. But the way it works on my channel is that I don't really do a top 10 most anticipated of the year list because, let's face it, there's way too many films that we should get excited for this year. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna cover some of the films that I'm gonna be excited for month by month. So it's like, oh, there's a month coming out in May, I'm excited for that one, or one's coming out in December. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cover the films I'm looking forward to the most, and most likely not see most of them, but hey, you know, it's just a nice little reminder saying, hey, these movies are coming out this year and you guys should look forward to them because they should be awesome. So if I somehow forget a film, which chances are that's gonna happen because there are a lot of movies coming out this year, please feel free to leave any particular film down below. So here we are, my most anticipated films of 2017, starting off with January. Now, January is the month that's notorious for putting out just regrettably terrible films for reasons unknown. We don't exactly know why, but it just keeps on happening. But that doesn't mean that we're gonna get some good shit out of it. But we have one particular film that looks imaginative, heartfelt, and it's gonna tug on your emotions because there's gonna be a dying Felicity Jones, and that is A Monster Calls. If you're gonna have Felicity Jones die in the movie, you know that I'm gonna be crying, basically, because Felicity Jones is just one of the most adorable things on the planet. And then we get a film that's just been getting negative critical acclaim lately because I don't know why. It's just like, I'm curious to see why this is happening, and that film is Live by Night. You have a gangster Batman and directed by Ben Affleck? Yeah, you know I'm all on board for that, so I mean, can't be bad, right? Just hope the critics aren't right on this. And then we get a much more serious film directed by Peter Berg based on the true events of the Boston Marathon bombings in 2013, and that is Patriots Day. It looks to be a very heartfelt film based on how strong the human spirit is. It looks like it's gonna be awesome. But then we have another little film called Split directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and I feel like this is gonna be the one that's really gonna define his comeback. Because I thought that his last film, The Visit, was a nice little return from a once great director. I mean, it was okay at best, but I feel like if Split is gonna be the one that's gonna be great, this is gonna put M. Night Shyamalan back up on his feet, and he's gonna make more films just gonna be like how he used to be. And then we have The Founder starring Michael Keaton. It's covering the story of how the fast food chain McDonald's became this huge empire that we know as McDonald's. And I'm pretty sure that right after I see the movie, I'm gonna be in the mood for a burger. I mean, not a McDonald's burger in particular, but just a burger. Right? Food. And that's basically my films for January, so let's move on to February. Now, February is the month where things really start to pick up because for the past 3 years, at least one film would make it up on my top 10 list of the year because those movies are in February and they end up being really good. But since we live in a crazy world where some of our most anticipated movies end up being our biggest disappointments of the year, we will just have to see. Starting this month off, we have a film called My Life as a Zucchini, which is an animation from Switzerland, I think? But I think it's an official selection of Best Foreign Language Film at this year's Oscars, so I'm really looking forward to that. Next, we have John Wick Chapter 2. Now, I love the first John Wick. I thought it was the biggest surprise for me in 2014. But what worries me the most is that they only got one of the original directors back for this film, and that is Chad Stahelski. So if he pulls this off, John Wick 2 is gonna be a really awesome sequel and action-packed film. And during that same week, we are getting the Lego Batman movie. And we're living in a time where Batman is just always taken seriously. He's edgy, dark, brooding. We just want to see a character where he's just like self-aware and he's just satirized the entire time. If you're looking for that, then you get the Lego Batman movie. This is the one that you should be looking forward to. And if this movie pulls it off, then it should be probably one of the best comedies of well, not the best comedy overall, but probably the best animated comedy of 2017, so we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. And then we have Gore Verbinski's A Cure for Wellness, and this movie has some of the most intriguing trailers I have ever seen for a film. It looks to be a very creepy and suspenseful film. I know that there's something in the movie that's just gonna blow my mind. I know there's a twist in there. There's something that's movie's not shown us yet. I'm looking forward to it. It looks awesome. And that's basically it for February, so let's move on to March. Now in the month of March, we are getting quite a wide variety of things, starting off with the film Logan, which is said to be Hugh Jackman's last performance as Wolverine. So I don't know, maybe if they pay him $2 billion to reprise his role in some other film, then maybe he might do it. So it's his last performance as Wolverine. And plus there's gonna be a Deadpool cameo in there, but I don't know how that's gonna work because Deadpool's humor and Wolverine's humor is just really offbeat and different. Plus the tone that they're trying to go for Logan, I don't know how they're gonna do it, so I'm looking forward to that. And then we also have Trainspotting 2, also known as T2, which is kind of ripping off Terminator 2's title. Like, what the fuck, dude? Trainspotting being a film about heroin addicts, and this film looked like it's gonna return back to those characters, so it looks cool. And then we get the newest live-action Disney adaptation with Beauty and the Beast. And yes, I know, I'm aware they're probably not gonna do anything new or different with the story, because it's already a great story to begin with, and I know that it's gonna be a rehash, but I'm just excited to return back to this world. And then we have my most anticipated film of March, and that is Ghost in the Shell. And not because it's a live action adaptation from anime, but because it's a nice little refreshing take to the cyberpunk world. I've always loved this type of universe, and Scarlett Johansson looks like she's gonna kick some ass, and what more could you want from this film? That's basically it for March, so let's move on to April. Now there's not a lot in April for me this year, probably like one film. Like April's kind of dead for me this year. But that one film being The Fate of the Furious, also known as Fast and Furious number 88. This is the first film without Paul Walker's character, and it's gonna have the director F. Gary Gray, the same director as Straight Outta Compton. He's gonna direct this film, and it looks like it's just gonna be dumb popcorn action fun. And that's it for April. Let's move on to May. Now, May doesn't have a lot going on for me as well, but it does feature some of my top 10 most anticipated films of the year if I were to pick a list or something. And starting off with Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I love the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought it was just a fun space adventure, but this one looks like it's gonna have a great soundtrack, great characters, great everything. I mean, what can I say? I love my space adventures. And speaking of space adventures, actually more of like space hell rather than adventure, but we have the film Alien Covenant. I am so stoked for this film. It comes from the original director Ridley Scott, returning to the sci-fi horror genre that we so desperately need in cinema right now. And like I said, space hell, and it looks awesome. Looks cool. And May's kind of done, so let's move on to June. Now for June, we have quite a couple films that's definitely gonna get some Oscar nominations, and that is Captain Underpants. I can't say that with a straight face. I've read the books when I was 5. I thought they were hilarious, so I'm kind of looking forward to the raunchy toilet humor for kids. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I'm looking forward to this, believe it or not. And next we have Wonder Woman. It's the first live-action Wonder Woman film that we are getting that's based in the same universe as Batman and Superman. How could you not get excited for that? Even though it's set like 100 years before Batman v Superman, but it's Wonder Woman. How could you say no to Wonder Woman? She was kick-ass in Batman v Superman. And next we have Cars 3, and this is something that I'm really looking forward to because the trailer surprised the hell out of me on how dark it really was. And just hopefully Pixar is gonna break their trend of bad sequels and bad prequels. Don't bring me down, Pixar. This is gonna be the one that's gonna break that. And that's it for June, so let's move on to July. Now, July is when the real summer blockbusters kick in. Probably about 5 or 6 films is gonna be on this list right now. Of course, Marvel being ahead of the game, showing how big their dicks are. We got Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, this is gonna be the first Spider-Man film in which the character is gonna be involved in the MCU. And it looks like the character is gonna be done right this time, completed with a couple extra twists. It looks like it's gonna be a coming-of-age story. I'm really looking forward to that. And next up, we are getting the new Planet of the Apes film, War for the Planet of the Apes. Now, we have been getting solid films so far dealing with Caesar's story. And if this one turns out to be great, we have a great trilogy on our hands. Next, we have Luc Besson's newest sci-fi film, Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Now, like I said, if I were to pick a top 10 most anticipated of the list, it would definitely be on that list. I'm really looking forward to how this sense of adventure this film has. And it looks like it's gonna be a modern, updated version of The Fifth Element, another Luc Besson film, by the way. And I know that it's gonna be like a novel adaptation, but look, what can I say? Love my space adventures. Now, we have Dunkirk, directed by Christopher Nolan, and I'm a little edgy on it, not because Harry Styles in the film, which, yeah, that is true for any of those who don't know that, yeah, he's in this film. But the film is looked at to be PG-13. I don't know how you're gonna have a war film if it's gonna be PG-13, but look, if anyone were to pull it off, it would be Christopher Nolan. And that's it for July. Let's move on to August. So in the month of August, that's when the summer blockbuster season starts to come to an end. But on the top of my head, I don't really think there's any August films that I'm looking forward to. So with that being said, let's move on to September. Now in September, we have a Stephen King adaptation slash reboot, and that is the film It, the really creepy clown that everybody knows. But watching the original, it is kind of cheesy, so hopefully in this one they modernize it, make it a little bit more edgy and creepy. I'm looking forward to that actually. And yeah, just another really lazy segment in the video, because there's really not a lot of movies in August and September that I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, with that being said, let's go to October. Now, October is the month where things really start to pick it up for me. This is when things start to get Oscar season-y-ish, if that's really a word. Hopefully, we are getting some Oscar nominations for this month with Denis Villeneuve's newest film, Blade Runner 2049. You got a cyberpunk world, Ryan Gosling, Harrison Ford, Ridley Scott helping out, Denis Villeneuve directing, Roger Deakins doing the cinematography. How can you say no to that? That is an ultimate dream team. Now, that is my number 2 most anticipated of 2017. Now, Denis, this is gonna be the film that's gonna make you into a household name. You can do it, man. I know you can. Next up, we have Kingsman: The Golden Circle, also directed by Matthew Vaughn. Actually, the first time he's ever returning for a sequel. It just means that there's something special going on, and just the idea of the British Kingsman teaming up with the American Kingsman, it just sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that this movie is gonna do that. And that's fulfilling my fun factor of funness filled with tons of fun, because that's what movies are. They're fun, and they're not supposed to be taken seriously. Now, next up, apparently we got a new Cloverfield film. Now, as far as we're concerned, it's gonna be called Cloverfield 2017. It seems like with each Cloverfield film, it's gonna be way different from its predecessor. I'm really looking forward to that. Like, read the synopsis. It sounds awesome. And I believe that's it for October, so let's move on to November. Now, November is always another strong month for me personally, because just like in February, there's always that one film that ends up being on my top 10 best of the year list. So, I mean, we're still kind of some ways away from that. Now, one film that I feel like it's gonna make it on there, and that is the sequel to Creed, also known as Creed 2. Now, there's a plot point in the first Creed in which it's probably might carry over to this one, and if they're gonna go through with that, I'm probably gonna cry my head off. It's gonna be sad, man, just seeing how these characters are gonna progress in this universe, man. Don't do this to me, dude. Creed 2, don't. And speaking of universes, we get Thor Ragnarok, which is the 3rd film in the Thor series and a continuation of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, in this one, you got Thor, the Hulk, and Doctor Strange all teaming up together, and if they're gonna fight this one villain, right, that villain is just gonna get slaughtered. We already know what's gonna happen. Then the next film, we're gonna have DC's newest film, The Justice League. Now, this is the first time we're gonna see all these heroes come together in cinematic history. This is gonna be quite an event. If anything, I think the film is gonna be fun, because you have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg all in one movie. That's gonna be awesome. And next up, we have Pixar's newest original film, Coco, and I'm really looking forward to this because Disney doesn't really touch onto Hispanic culture that much, and seeing them pay like huge respect to a culture like this I feel like it's gonna be a gift to me, to all Mexican people just like myself, and it's gonna be like nice that Disney's gonna dive into originality again. And that's it for November, so let's move on to December. Now in December, there's really not that much going on in film-wise, I mean, because there's kind of lame films happening, and I just don't really see what's the point of December. Oh yeah, that's right, it's my most anticipated film of 2017, and that is Star Wars Episode 8, which is rumored to be called Forces of Destiny, so please don't let that happen. Now, this is the sequel to The Force Awakens, and long story short, I'm so stoked for Episode 8 because I don't really know what to expect at this point. All I want to see is just how powerful Luke Skywalker is in the Force. If he like just crushes a dude with his hands, that would be pretty awesome. I gotta stop right there before I completely fanboy out, but that is basically my most anticipated list of 2017. And look, I'm aware that I didn't get every single film this year that you guys wanted me to list, but these are basically the films that I can think of on the top of my head, and I know it's mostly like mainstream blockbuster films. I know. But any of you guys out there who want to show more love for indies and foreign films, please leave a list like that down below. And as always, guys, I want to know what your top 10 and most anticipated list of 2017, or any films that you're looking forward to the most. Whatever it is, leave that down below as well. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all that social media shit down below. Keep in contact with me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as always, guys, may the Force be with you.